Good morning, our students, and welcome to our class. Today, we are going to discuss with you one of a frequent question in statistics, which of course is always confusing to students. And this, of course, is quartiles from an array of data and ungrouped frequency table. We are going to show how we can obtain the quartile values from an array of data and from ungrouped frequency table. Remember that when we talk about quartile, we are talking about the measure that divides the data set into four equal parts. That is what we call quartiles. That is to say that if we have this as a quartile or as a data set, permit us to write this line as a data set. When we talk about quartile, we are looking at those values that are going to divide this set of data into four equal parts. And then I might draw something like this way, then draw something this way. I might have something this way, have something this way, and have something this way. Then let us count. You'll find out that here is 1, 2, 3, 4. I've divided this data set into four equal parts. And that first stroke of line with which I divided this data set is what we call our Q1, what we call our first quartile. And then this one is what we call our Q2, which was we call the second quartile, which is the same thing as the median. Here is what we call the Q3, what we call the third quartile. So the concern here is, what is the formula for our Q1, Q2, and Q3 when we are dealing with an array of data and when we are dealing with ungrouped frequency table? I will show you. The formula is that our Q1 is given as, or generally, we have this thing to be that our Qi is given as what? I into n plus 1 all over what? 4. Okay? Yes. Now the concern here is when I becomes 1, here becomes 1. When I becomes 2, here becomes 2 down the line. Therefore, it implies that when I talk about what? Q1, my Q1 is going to, this I becomes 1. I have 1 here. This becomes 1. Open a bracket. Here is my n plus 1 all over what? 4. The term that bears this thing becomes what? My first quartile. From that data set, we are going to explain. And then when we talk about our Q2, we have that our Q2 is the same thing as my I will now become 2. So I have what? 2 into n plus 1 all over what? 4. Okay? And then when we are talking about Q3, we now have that our Q3 now is going to be 3 into what? N plus 1 all over what? 4. Then here, of course, we can say write this in this way. This is 1 and this is 2. And that formula reduces to what? N plus 1 all over what? 2. Which is the same thing as the formula for median. Now, I'm going to make a little emphasis here that the approach we are going to use to calculate these formulas we have given stand even when our n is odd or when n is even. So we are not going to specify here whether when n is even use this and when n is odd use this. No. Just see what we are going to do. When we want to talk about first quartile, we use this. When we want to talk about second quartile, we use this. And when we want to talk about third quartile, we use this. When we are discussing an array of data and when we are discussing from ungrouped frequency table. So you permit me to clean the board while we take examples. Okay? The example one I have here says, that is example one. Is example one. Example one. Example one. The example one says, consider 5, 10, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, and 28. He said obtain Q1, Q2, and Q3. That's the question they are asking us. We should obtain from this data set Q1, Q2, and Q3. So what we are going to do is still very simple. And that what we are going to do is to write solution. We have solution. Our Q1, of course, based on the formula we gave earlier, is that Q1 is given as, we have this thing to be 1 into n plus 1 all over what? 4. That's the formula we gave, which is the same thing as, this R1 is still here, n is talking about number of observations, so we count the observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 plus 1 all over 4. This thing is the same thing as 1 into 11 all over 4, which is the same thing as 11 all over 4. And if you say 11 divided by 4, you'll be able to get a value like this, that 11 divided by 4 will be able to give us 2.75. 2.75. Okay? Now, this 2.75 is not going to be our answer. See what we are going to do. This 2 here is talking about the second term. And because you are having this fraction here, 7.75, you are now going to say that this thing implies this thing is equal to, we have the second term, plus the fraction we have here is 0.75. You open a bracket and you say third term minus second term. You close the brackets. This thing is going to be, what is my second term from this observation? It is 10. So I have 10 plus 0.75, open a bracket. My third term is what? 15. So I have 15, and my second term is 10, which is 10. This thing implies that here is 10 plus, here is 0.75, open a bracket, and here is 5. That is 15 minus 10 is what? 5. And then when you multiply this, we will arrive at the answer that says that this is 13.5. 13.75, sorry. So this 13.75 is our first quartile. You see what we did here? Arrived at this. This which we arrived at assisted us now to do what we did, and then we conclusively concluded here that our first quartile is 13.75. Then we proceed to the second quartile. Our second quartile, which is what? Q what? 2, is now going to be, we can either use our 2 into what? N plus 1 all over what? 4. This is the same thing as, here is my 2, my N is 10 plus 1, close the bracket, all over 4. This is equals. Like what I told you before, this is 1 and this is what? 2. This becomes now 10 plus 1, which is 11, all over what? 2. And this will be able to give me 5.5. Our 5.5 is not the answer. We should know that. So with this 5 here before the decimal point is telling us now the fifth observation there. The fifth what? Observation there. So we now say that therefore this thing is equal to, we say our fifth observation or fifth term plus the fraction here is 0.5, 0.5, open a bracket. You now say sixth position or sixth term minus what we call the fifth term. And then this becomes, what is our fifth term here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our fifth is what? Is 18. So we have our 18 plus. Here is my 0.5. You open a bracket. Your sixth term here is now what? Your 19. You have here 19. And then your fifth position is 18. You have here to be 18. This thing implies 18 plus 0.5 more multiplied by 1. Then you have this thing to be that 0.5 times 1 is 0.5, which means everything becomes 18.5. 18.5. And then let us look at something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you watch here now, you find out that if I say ordinarily, if I want to find the median by the way you know, I'll count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. These are two observations that are at the same time. 18 plus 19 divided by 2 will give you 18.5. Which is an agreement that our second quartile is the same thing as what? As the median, because it is the median that I found that way. So this is now becomes what we have here. So when we talk about our Q3, we are going to go straight here. Our Q3 becomes, okay, permit me to clean the first one. Permit me to clean this Q1 here, what I wrote here. So when we talk about our now Q3, we are going to have that our Q3 now here, Q3 now is going to be, here is my 3 into n plus 1 all over 4, which becomes, here is my 3, n is 10 plus 1 all over what? 4. This thing becomes 3 into 11 all over 4, which is 33 all over what? 4. If you check 33 divided by 4, according to what I have here, it is 8.25. So this is what? 8.25. This 8 here is telling you about the 8 term. Okay? So what you're now going to see is that this is now going to be the same thing as the 8th term plus the fraction here is 0.25. You open a bracket. The 9th term. The 9th term minus the 8th term. And then this is going to give you, the 8th term here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 21. So you have 21 plus. The 0.5 is 0.25. You open a bracket. Your 9th term now is going to be the 25. So you have 25 minus. Here is what? 21. 21. 25 minus 21 will give you 4. So this is going to be 21 plus 0.245 or multiplied by what? 4. And 0.25 multiplied by 4 is 1. Added to 21 will give you 22. So don't you see that I've now able to, from this array of data, found the value of a Q1, the value of what? Q2, and the value of Q3. So this is how to find the quartiles from an array of a data set. we are quickly going to show you how to find the quartile from ungrouped frequency table, the first one for that matter. So permit me to clean this place down. Okay? And then we call that one example 2. Example 2. Okay, my example 2 says, and I write, the first one for that matter also, for our Q2. Okay? Our Q2 says, which is example 2 now, example 2. Example 2, they gave us a data set, and that data set is given this way. Look at the data set. So here is our X, here is our F. Okay? So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Their frequencies are 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, and 2. The question here still remains obtain Q1, Q2, and Q3. That's still the question. Obtain Q1, Q2, and Q3 from this. It is still simple. What we are going to do is to recurse on or to refer to the formula that we gave earlier. That formula we gave earlier is that our Q1, so as a word of solution now, solution, we have that our Q1 is given as 1 into n plus 1 all over 4. Now, what we are going to pay attention here, our n here is talking about total observation, or what we call the sample size. For us to get the sample size from this data set is for us to sum all the frequencies. That is how to arrive at this. So this formula can equally be written as now, that this formula is the same thing as 1 into sum of f plus 1 all over what? 4. Sum of f is sum of all the frequencies. But, we now say but sum of f is equals 13. 1 to this is 4, to this 4 is 8, to this is 10, to this is 11, and this is 13. So we now say that therefore, our Q1 is given as, here is my 1, sum of f is 13, this is 13, plus 1 all over what? 4. 13 plus 1 will give me 14, so this becomes 1 into 14 all over what? 4. And then 1 times this will equally give me 14 all over 4. 14 divided by 4, according to what I have here, when 14 is divided by 4, we have 3.5. Now, 3.5 is not our answer. This 3 here is talking about the third observation. Then we have a ratio here, or what we call a decimal point here, 0.5. So this is going to be, this implies that for us to get our Q1, it is going to be the third term plus the fraction here is 0.5, we open a bracket, fourth term minus third term. We close it. The question here becomes, what is our third term? Let me show you how to arrive at third term here. Ordinarily, what this thing means is that 1 occurred 3 times. So if you are to enumerate all these things, you find out that this one is going to occur 1, 1, 1. That's what we mean by this. That 1 occurred 3 times. So in that case, this one here is the third position here. So the third position in this data set here still is 1. So you now come to this place talking about third position, you write what? 1. This is 1. So we now say plus. Here is your 0.5. You open a bracket. The question is, what is now the fourth term? When you were at the third term, you wrote 3, 1, 1 here. The fourth term has entered these two. And these two occurred only once. These two here occurred only once. So you just have what? 2 here. You find out that the fourth term here is what? Is 2. So you now come over here. Your fourth term is 2. You write what? 2 minus. Your third term still remains what? 1. You have 1. You close it. And this is going to be 1 plus 0.5. Open the brackets. 2 minus 1 is 1. Multiply is 0.5. This is equal to 1.5. And this was the value we got when we were trying to find the boundless coefficient of skewness using the same data set. And that was why we said in that class that it is good for students to revisit this class on quartiles to be able to have a comprehensive understanding on how to obtain the values of Q1, Q2, and Q3. So this our 1.5 now is what we call our third quartile, and not this 3.5. This 3.5 only assisted us now to correctly arrive at the value of our Q1, which is 1.5. So our Q1 we have gotten is Q1 is equals 1.5. So I'm going to clean here so we can get our Q2 together. So permit me to clean here. When we talk about Q2 now, we found out what we are going to have in place of this one here becomes 2. So here we are going to have what we call our Q2 now. This one will now become what? 2, open a bracket. This sum still remains 13. So I have 13 plus 1 all over what? 4. This is 1 and this is what? 2. So this thing becomes what we call 14 all over what? 2. And 14 all over 2 will likely give you 7.5. Not likely give you 7.5. It is 7.5. When you see 14 divided by 2. And when you have this kind of a thing, what do? What you do is this 7 is talking about the 7th term in the data set, the 7th term. So you now come here and say that this thing is now equals 7th term plus the fraction here is 0.5. You open the bracket and you say 8th term minus 7th term. You close it. This equals. How are we going to get the 7th term from what? This data set? Let me explain. Because you cannot be enumerating this thing this way. What if here is 9? What if here is 20? What you do is this. You begin to add up all these frequencies. 3, it means that 3 observations are here. This 3 now plus 1 here is what? 4. It means there are 4 observations here. Okay? If you add it to this 4 here, it becomes what? 8. And you find out that we are talking about what? 7th what? Term. But the good news there is this. When here becomes what? 3, you will be able to have that here is 3 plus 3 to give you what? 4 plus this 3 to give you 7. But here is 4. It means that even that 7th term is inside this place. And even the 8th term is inside this place. Because if you say 3 plus 1 is what? Is 4. Plus this 4, it will be what? 8. Okay? So 7th term is here and 8th term is here. And all of them are referring to this what? 3. So what you're now going to do now is that if you say 7th position now, you are now going to come here, which is 3. You have now, this thing becomes what? 3. This is now 3 plus. You have what you call 0.5, you open a bracket. Okay? Now, your 8th term still remains this 3. Because when you sum the frequencies, you had 3 plus 1 is what? 4 plus 4 is what? Is 8. So the 8th position is equally referring to this 3. So you have this 3 here. Minus. The 7th position is equally 3 there. Because this 3 occurred 4 times. So you still have this thing to be what? To be 3. You close it. So you now say 3 minus 3 is what? Is 0. Okay? 0 multiplied by this is what? Is 0. So this thing now is going to be now 3 plus 0, which is equal to what? 3. And what we have now saying that our second quartile is what? Is 3. Okay? And remember that second quartile is the same thing as the median. It's the same thing as what? Median. And if you want to get the median, the moment you sum all the observations and they are odd, you add 1 to it and divide by 2 to help you locate what the median. If you sum all these observations, they are 13. If you add this 1 to this 13, it becomes 7. 7 divided by 2 will now be able to give you, 14 divided by 2 will be able to give you 7. And then when you have that 7, you come here, you ask yourself, is 7 found in 3? No. 3 plus 1 is what? 4. Is 7 found in 4? No. 4 plus 4 is what? Is 8. Is 7 found in what? In 8? Yes. What is that observation that corresponds to that 8? 3. And then look at what we got here, making use of this formula. So our Q2 now is 3. And then without wasting much of your time, our Q3 now is now going to be, here becomes 3. We have 3 into 13 plus 1 all over what? 4. Which becomes what? That this is 3 into 14 all over what? 4. Which is equals. If you say 3 times 14, the value we got here is 42. So you have that here is what? 42 all over 4. 42 divided by 4 gave us 10.5. It gave us 10.5. 10.5 is not your Q3. Instead, 10.5 is simply what is going to assist you correctly find the value of Q3. So this your 10 is referring to the 10th position. So which means our Q3 now is going to be 10 plus. The fraction here is 0.5. It is going to be 11th term minus 10th term. So we come here to get our 11th term. Remember that 3 plus 1 is what? 4. Plus this 4 is what? 8. Plus 2 here is what? Is 10. So our 10th term here is talking about this 10th term here. Oh no. So it is going to be 10th term. Let me write it fully. 10th term plus 0.5 into 11th minus 10th terms. Please. That's what I mean by this thing. Please, this is 11th minus 10th terms. This is equals to. What is my 10th term? My 10th term is now I'm going to do this plus this is what? 4 to this is what? 8 to this is what? 10. So it is what? 4. So I will now write 4 plus 0.5, open the bracket. Now, if you come here, 11th is what? Is 5. So you now have what? 5 minus this 4, you close it, which is equal to 4 plus 0.5 by 1, which is equal to 4 plus 0.5, and which is equal to 4.5. Okay, so our Q1 is 1.5. Our Q2 is 3, which we had here, and then our Q3 is 4. And this is how to correctly arrive at the measures of quartiles from an array of data and from a group frequency table. Thank you very much for your audience, and do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels, as we are committed to making effort and bringing these things to you in a very simplified form. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for our next class.